Hold on to your teacups, because this isn't tabloid talk or social media noise, this is real, straight from the polished marble heart of Buckingham Palace itself. After years of icy silence, the monarchy, yes, the crown has finally cracked. And when it did, it didn't just whisper, it roared. For years, people gossiped about Meghan and Harry's children, little Archie and sweet Lilibet. Were they truly royal heirs? Why did the palace avoid showing them the way William and Kate proudly display their little ones? Why was there always that awkward, unspoken distance? Rumors twirled through royal corridors like perfume, intoxicating and dangerous. Questions piled up, but the palace kept its mouth shut until now. And when the crown finally acted, it didn't waste time with emotional interviews or heartwarming statements. No, the monarchy's weapon of choice has always been colder, sharper documents, legal, constitutional, official papers signed with royal ink that weigh more than 1,000 words ever could. According to palace insiders, these papers are already sealed, and they aren't drafts or suggestions. They're final, permanent. The kind that redefine history. Archie and Lilibet's royal status? Gone. Just like that. Erased in the same quiet, ruthless way the monarchy has handled every scandal before, through rules, not revenge. This isn't some family feud. It's not about who smiled at who or who sat where at the coronation. This is protocol. The monarchy's oldest and most sacred playbook has been opened again, and this time the ink is royal blue and final. To understand why, we need to go back more than 100 years to 1917, when another king, under the pressure of war and chaos, decided to protect the royal bloodline with iron rules. King George V didn't write poems or give emotional speeches. He wrote law, dry, stiff, unshakable law. But hidden in those old-fashioned lines were the exact words that still control who can call themselves a prince or princess today. Those rules, known as the letters patent, spelled out 3 cold conditions. The child must be of legitimate royal blood. The birth must be officially recognized by the crown. The child must be connected to the Church of England. No exceptions, no shortcuts, no celebrity loopholes. For over a century, those rules have protected the purity of the monarchy and ensured that royal titles aren't handed out like party favors at a Windsor tea. But when the crown looked at Archie and Lilibet, something didn't add up. Their births, their documentation, their connection to the church. There were cracks the monarchy could not legally ignore. And from the very moment those children were born, the royal clock began to tick. The palace didn't rush, it waited, quietly, patiently, and now it's finally made its move. They say no secret can stay buried forever, no matter how powerful the people who try to hide it. And right now, those castle walls around Meghan Markle are trembling. Because, according to palace whispers and insider leaks, a woman, the woman who once carried Meghan and Harry's youngest child, is finally breaking her silence. And what she's saying? It has sent shockwaves through the royal world. Meghan, usually calm and collected, is reportedly in panic mode. Because if what this woman claims is true, it could rewrite everything the world believes about little Lilibet Diana. According to explosive claims, the woman behind the scenes, the supposed surrogate, has revealed that Prince Harry might not be Lilibet's biological father. Yes, you read that right. Behind all the headlines, the Netflix documentaries, the polished interviews, there might be a darker truth. A truth that Buckingham Palace quietly suspected for years. And now, as whispers turn into statements, Meghan's greatest fear isn't exposure, it's loss of control. For so long, she controlled the narrative, the camera angles, the interviews. But now, this time, the story isn't hers to edit. So what made this mysterious woman speak after all these years? One word: money. The surrogate allegedly never received her final payment. Insiders claim the amount was hidden through creative accounting, disguised as donations or business expenses under a California foundation connected to Meghan. Her lawyers, they say, were desperate to keep Meghan's name far away from anything that looked like surrogate compensation, because that would have shattered the illusion of a traditional royal birth. But the woman wasn't foolish. She kept everything. Conversations, bank slips, even recordings of calls from Meghan's legal circle warning her to let it go. And for a while, she did. But now, she's ready to speak not for fame, but for justice. She doesn't want attention, says one insider. She just wants what she was promised. But her voice isn't the only one. More whispers from Meghan's past business partners and insiders have surfaced. People describing the same eerie pattern: unpaid deals, sudden disappearances, and ironclad non-disclosure agreements. If even half of these claims are true, it paints a chilling picture that Meghan didn't just control the public story, she controlled the people in it. And then, the story takes an even stranger turn. Remember when Prince Harry, in his memoir Spare, claimed that Meghan had 2 epidurals at the hospital, that she gave birth, recovered, and returned home to Frogmore Cottage within 2 hours? Well, anyone who's ever had or even heard of childbirth knows that's impossible. The drive from London's Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage alone takes about an hour. That leaves, what, 1 hour for delivery, recovery, medical checks, discharge, and 2 epidurals? Not even Hollywood's best director could make that timeline believable. Every mother knows. After an epidural, you don't just stand up and leave. You wait for the anesthesia to fade, vitals to stabilize, blood pressure to normalize. That's under perfect conditions. If Meghan truly had high blood pressure or, as has been rumored, early signs of preeclampsia, she wouldn't have been discharged at all. The story starts to crack, and once it does, it shatters. Harry's description in Spare painted a fairy tale birth soft lights, birthing balls, wellness music, candles glowing like a spa retreat. But medical insiders were baffled. Because Meghan's pregnancy, based on her age, was classified as geriatric, not an insult, just a medical term for mothers over 35. Such pregnancies require strict monitoring, medical supervision, and hospital vigilance. So, for doctors, the idea of a Zen spa birth for a high-risk patient raised every red flag imaginable. Hospital insiders from Portland reportedly said they'd never allow such a setup for someone under that classification. No scented candles, no natural birthing balls, no ambient playlists, just medical precision, because that's protocol, not glamour. And when preeclampsia is even suspected, the situation becomes critical. It demands magnesium sulfate, blood pressure control, continuous monitoring, not quick selfies, and an early checkout. So when Harry claimed they were home within 2 hours, sipping tea and cradling their newborn, the medical world collectively blinked. The story didn't just sound romantic, it sounded impossible. For years, Meghan and Harry played the part of royal rebels, the couple who walked away, told their truth, built their brand, and cashed their deals. But here's the irony. You can only rebel against the crown if the crown still claims you. And Buckingham Palace understood that. It didn't argue, it didn't yell back. It didn't send emotional rebuttals to Oprah or Netflix. It waited, cold, patient, calculating, and now it's acted. By stripping Archie and Lilibet of royal recognition, the monarchy hasn't just drawn a line, it's carved it in stone. No more succession rights. No more prince or princess. No place in the royal order. They're not rebels anymore. They're outsiders. California children beloved by their parents, yes, but absent from official history. Their names will not appear in the royal registries that live for centuries. Their portraits won't hang in royal corridors. Their futures, though privileged, are no longer tied to the throne. That silence, that absence, is the monarchy's loudest statement yet. And so, the story that began with whispers now ends with the cold stroke of a pen. After years of interviews, documentaries, and media battles, Buckingham Palace didn't need to speak. It simply followed the one rule it has always lived by. The crown does not explain, it endures. The decision is irreversible. The message? Unmistakable. For Meghan and Harry, the fallout is massive. Their brand, built on the promise of being royal outsiders, collapses without the royal. Without the crown, they aren't rebels, they're simply forgotten. Archie and Lilibet will grow up surrounded by love, cameras, and sunshine. But in the cold, official records of the British Empire, they will not exist as heirs. And that silence, that erasure, will echo far louder than any tabloid ever could. Because this wasn't about revenge, it was about restoration. About a monarchy reminding the world that no matter how famous, how loud, or how rebellious anyone becomes, the crown always has the final word. And that word, whispered through the corridors of Buckingham Palace, is final.